is Dylan. This is Dylan's Exotic Colubrids on YouTube and maybe TikTok. I don't know, depending on where I want to put this video. So today I'm going to be telling you how to set up your quarantine enclosure for a king snake. Now this goes depending on what type of king snake you have. Today I'm setting up one for a Brooks red king snake or red Brooks king snake. Let me get him out real quick. So this guy's about 4 to 5 months. I'm pretty sure 4 months, but I'm just saying 4 to 5 to be safe. So this is the king snake. So as you can see, he's got some browns on him, some white speckled spots, and then he's got these beautiful, I'm trying to get the focus. Yeah, guys, he's got beautiful red markings on his sides. As you can see, they're right there. Anyways, there's 2 things you always want to do when making and setting up a quarantine bin or quarantine enclosure. I don't like using racks or bins. I don't like using racks or bins because, especially for a quarantine, I don't want this quarantine snake being near any other snakes unless they're all in quarantine. So basically what I did before I record this video, I sprayed this enclosure down, and anything on it or that goes in it with this reptile kills mites on reptiles. Spray, it will kill mites on anything. I will usually have 2 of those, but I only have 1 today. So I have 1 that you rub on the snake and then 1 that you put in the enclosure. So the first thing going in his enclosure today is this half egg. It usually would have a top on it, but I took the top off and I just kind of I usually just kind of lay it on the side here, like you can see right there. Yeah, that's usually what I do. And then the second hide is this one right here. As you can see, he's poking his head out from the hide. He's got a top and bottom, so he feels more secure, and it's a little bit bigger hide, so I can usually use it until these guys get about a year old. Sorry, I didn't scare him. I will usually use it until these guys get about a year. And then, so basically, I don't like using a big water dish, especially for a snake this tiny. It just depends on what you're comfortable with your king snake. Now, this guy being a Brooks snake, I'm not really familiar with the Brooks king snakes. I'm more familiar with Cali kings and speckles. But I bought this guy at my pet store. I just fell in love with his coloring and his, is just like this absolute like menace. The pet store lady was scared to hold him. So here comes his water dish. It's a smaller water dish than what I would like to have, but for him, he has a couple bits trouble with drinking water. Instead of normal king snakes, he drinks water a little weird. So I just wanted to have a smaller but deeper water dish because it kind of he likes to shove his face all the way down into the bottom. I would show you, but he already drank water for me earlier, and I don't want to make him stress him out by picking him up and then putting him in the water dish. So basically, any place where a mite can live, like you don't want those circular kind of oval wooden hides. You want to spray anything down in your enclosures, even if your snake doesn't have mites, with reptile spray. I just find that it really prevents a mite infestation, even from anything. Now, anything that's hard plastic, I boil it. So what I do is I boil water and I put that in there. I put the thing in the boiling water so that it will kill any mites that are in there. I make sure the water's hot. So this was boiled. This was boiled. This wasn't boiled. This came from my house, so I know it doesn't have mites on it. But anyways, don't spray your water dish with mites because I still don't think that your reptiles can drink this. I don't think so. I don't think it says that your reptiles can drink this. It is reptile safe, but I still like to be safer than sorry with my reptiles. So anyways, yeah. So his name's Curly Fry. I named him after a snake discovery snake. I think they're snake discovery. I think that same snake is a Brooks king. I'm not sure though. So, but after you handle or do anything with your king snake or your snake that you're gonna put in there, you want to use some alcohol or some disinfectant stuff on your hands, because you don't want to be picking this up, holding your snake. You don't be, I did that backwards. You don't want to be holding your snake, picking up your snake, touching your snake, then going around to a different enclosure and then holding another snake, because then you could transfer what he has to your other snake. So I always use isopropyl alcohol, and if I don't have it, I use Clorox wipes. I just like using isopropyl alcohol a bit more than I do anything else. Also, if you're getting a cage, even if you buy it brand new, you want to wipe it down with some disinfectant stuff, because you never know what the pet store had. So, a horror story about pet store stuff is I bought a log for one of my ball python. I'll show you her in another video. I bought her a log, and the log had mites in it. And of course, you know, she was my first ball python. You know, I was like, maybe she's just going specs, but no, they were mites, and I freaked out, you know, because I'd never had mites before. You know, mites are a scary thing for newer reptile keepers, and escaping is a big thing for newer reptile keepers that a lot have an issue with. So if you don't want your snake to escape, like I did, I taped this part right here. I taped this part right here because I didn't know if he could fit through there, so I just taped it. But yeah, that's basically what you want to do. You don't want your snakes to be cross-contaminating. Even if your snakes don't have mites or they're not in quarantine, I always like to wipe myself down, especially touching different species of snakes, because king snakes eat other snakes. So if they smell a different snake on your hand, I've done it once before, and they will bite me. Like I did it with this guy. I forgot to wash my hands when I was holding my ball python. He bit me. So again, I just preached about doing it, but we are all human. We all make mistakes. Everyone makes a mistake once in their life. Nobody's perfect. You know, I always say that the only thing perfect in life are reptiles. Those are the only perfect things. They're literally perfect. Well, maybe not ball pythons. They're a little dumb, but yeah. So basically, that's how you just want to set it up. I don't like putting any palm leaves in there for now. Once the first week's up, that's when I will put enrichment into the enclosure. I don't want to put enrichment in yet since it hasn't been a week. I've had him for 2 days. He's gonna eat on Friday, even if he didn't eat. So something I always like to do is have a schedule, so it doesn't say when he was born or when he was. They received him on the 1st. 2025, but I don't know when he was born, which is insane. So if I go grab my ball python sheet here, I haven't updated this one in a while, so don't worry. That's why it's not updated. So as you can see, she was hatched on the 2nd of last year. She's a year and a half now. But you can see they're wholly different because feed, shed, date. It doesn't have a birth date on it like this one does. Hatched. I don't know if that's his hatch date or not, or his first feed date. But that's why ball pythons usually are a little easier to keep track of. Let me go ahead and get some. Ball pythons are a little harder to keep, or a little easier to keep track of than king snakes are. So I will be introducing you to the rest of my reptiles. I have 2 leopard geckos, a beery, and then a couple other king snakes, and then stuff like that. So I just bought this guy for a pet. I don't know if I'm going to be breeding him depending on his age, depending on the age, the gender, and if I can find another king snake with him. So for now, I know I just did all this stuff, but I'll get you one more good look at my little guy here. So if you want to know, like, if you're watching this video for like king snake tutorials, king snakes, I've never had a problem with them eating, really. They don't really have eating problems, but they can be a little feisty, especially certain king snakes. Like I find Cali kings are a little feistier than like a Mexican black king or anything like that. So let's one more good look at the little guy, curly fry. And then, so what I'm trying to get done is I'm trying to get like little pieces of paper I can stick on the sides of the glass, so that if people come in my room, they know what snakes are what. Because my goal on this channel is to own king snakes, not only, but all colubrids. I want to own venomous colubrids, and then like very doable colubrids. Now, you never want to start off with a colubrid like my favorite colubrids for people to start off with are corn, milk, and kings. Corn, milk, and kings are very easy to get eating, especially if you breed them. They're very easy to get eating. And then I'm going on a whole tangent, but yeah, thank you for watching my video. If this video helped you, then that's great. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. I'll answer those for you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.